spotlight. Now we do. Okay, are translators ready? Okay. We have Ukrainian translator set up. Good morning.
Hello, Ina. There was a little problem. Do you hear me?
Evening and good afternoon.
Ina, do you hear me? No?
Okay. I can see Ukrainian translator. Okay, we can go. Officially.
Ready?
ACI 6 started. We should do the dedication. You want me to do it?
Sure, you can do it. You can start.
Okay. There is actually a formal way to start, which we will not use because we have new people coming every time and we don't want to scare them away. So we will do the meaning. We will not do the ritual because rituals are just a format, and the most important is to understand the idea behind the ritual. Even the ritual may be very holy. Close your eyes and think about your life, where you are right now. What is the most important in your life? Where you take joy in your life? What is painful? Think about other people also having same issues you are having. Do you know anybody who would not have any problems with their lives? And make a wish to learn here how you can solve your own problems and help other people. Because this is actually what these classes are all about. Go back to your breathing, open your eyes. Now we have probably 10 translators. What do you expect from them?
No, it's always says that when she's leading her Russian group. Did I embarrass you?
Yes, you did.
I like this course.
My favorite.
Favorite?
My favorite, yeah. Because, Bill has more exposure to these teachings. Probably if you made it up here, can you hear it? They say they cannot hear.
Uh-oh.
I see the microphone is working. Unfortunately, Spanish translator says cannot hear. Okay.
Net slishu.
Okay, if you cannot hear, Marina, maybe you just have to relaunch.
Can the other
Zoom.
people hear?
Yeah, people can hear. So when I started to learn these ideas, Bill was in his 3-year retreat, actually. You realize? Or just maybe just finished.
2010?
Just finished. 2014.
Yeah, we were, spring of 2014 we finished.
Yeah, so he finished and I just came. And it's been already almost 12 years. When the reason why I got interested in this is I was always had this idea on the back of my mind that there is something deeper in this life than that what I was taught.
Mhm.
And Bill had same idea from his early age also. If you don't know us, Bill is a pilot. He was an instructor pilot at the military, and then he started to fly commercial flights. And I'm a medical doctor. I'm a pediatrician, and also I did about 10 years of psychotherapy training. So lots of different stuff, but was interested in the same thing he was interested in how my mind works. And it was always very clear that the potential of my mind is higher than I can feel. So how much higher? You will understand in this course.
Yeah, it's the Diamond Cutter Sutra. I think what's really cool about this course in particular is we'll spend a lot of time talking about the direct perception of emptiness. What does that mean? And it's really,
let me tell the introduction.
Okay,
he wants to jump right away. And people, they usually, when they study ACI, they know about direct perception of emptiness and 5 paths, but usually big things are starting in the beginning, like why do you need it at all, right? I mean, and in ancient times, there was a very famous thing about stopping, like how to stop your suffering altogether. And somebody named Buddha Shakyamuni, he said, you should reach some kind of level and touch the diamond world, like the absolute reality. And then different kinds of people, they were thinking different things, how to make it happen. Like, okay, what is this absolute reality? What, like, is it if I just stop my thinking, then I touch it? Or, oh, hello. we have guests in the room we are teaching. So the youngest is 7 years old. They were talking about, like, yeah, you know what? Everybody has some kind of suffering. If you don't have it right now, you will have it soon.
Well, yeah, if you don't think that this body's suffering, go just lock yourself in a closet for 24 hours and sit there and see what it does if you're not tending to it constantly. I mean, obviously it wouldn't go well.
Just try to stop moving for a couple hours, okay? You will see how much suffering you will get. Or like
try to keep moving for a couple hours and see how much suffering you get.
Just move for a couple hours, just stand for a couple hours. Anything you can think of. The body look, for me, it feels sometimes like, if you're old enough, you know what Tamagotchi is, just a electronic pet that you need, it will want to eat, it will poop, it will be hungry or wanting attention, and you have congratulations, everybody of us has the Tamagotchi, and it's a miracle that we have time to take care of other people, except this Tamagotchi, So there was this guy, Buddha Shakyamuni, who said, guys, you don't have to suffer. There is something called the absolute reality. If you touch it, then you're on the way. You know, there will be a point in your life you will stop suffering, right?
Yeah, it's pretty extraordinary. In the New Testament, Jesus says, "Look, you don't have to die," and it's so extraordinary, right? Like the people in the story, and I know if people have been to our classes before, I really like this story because Jesus says, "Look, you don't have to die." He said, "Truly, I tell you, there are some here who will see the kingdom of heaven before they die." And
then Saint John, chapter 8 or 9.
I think it's 851, isn't it?
I think it's
851, 52?
851, yeah. I cannot check it right now, but you can check it out. It's 51. Saint John, either chapter 8 or 9. You can check it out.
And the people who were listening to him, after he says it, they get so upset that they try and kill him. And then, but the thing is that in the modern Christian world, it's gotten lost. They don't know why he says that, right?
It's still in the Bible.
And he clearly had what we're going to be talking about, the direct perception of emptiness. He clearly, like the things that he does later on, the things that he talks about being kind to your neighbors. And I mean, frankly, the miracle powers that he has, being able to walk on water and change water to wine and things like that. It's because he'd seen emptiness directly. He'd had the direct perception of emptiness, and then he understood the nature of his reality, and so he had gained control over it. And what's really extraordinary, really extraordinary. I mean, if that was just like a one-off thing.
Slow down.
Yeah, right.
Translators.
If that was just a one-off thing where one person had done it 2,000 years ago, I mean, it'd be pretty extraordinary. But it's better than that. The teachings that we've got are saying, well, look, we're all supposed to do that. That's what the purpose of this human life is for. You're supposed to be able to, focus deeply, meditate deeply, and see this reality for yourself, see this ultimate reality for yourself. I mean, it's really extraordinary because the teachings are all there, right? Like in depth. And
extraordinary thing is that same way as Jesus said, truly tell you, if you follow my teaching, you don't have to die. And then they misunderstood what he meant, right? If they would, probably they would say, oh, tell us more, right? If they would understand. But they were thinking he is making fun of them or something. And same way, lots of things are misunderstood. So with this absolute reality, oh my God, I don't know if there is another word or phrase in the history of humanity that was misunderstood more than that. Because people would think that it's just light. They would think it's just you stop your thoughts. They would think it's just you have to focus on blackness with closed eyes, anything. And this is not it. And the book that will be that we study here is an extraordinary one for several reasons. First, it teaches you how to make it happen, what this is, how to make it happen, and it's one of the oldest. It is the oldest book in the history of humanity, actually, right?
That's printed.
That is printed.
Yeah.
It is the oldest printed book in humanity. I think they got confused a little bit. Translators, you're good. So I have brought several books. Like here, I have the Diamond Cutter Sutra in 4 languages: Sanskrit, Tibetan, English, and Chinese. And also, this is the commentary that you will be studying. It's actually published, translated with published with golden letters, like very beautifully. Geshe Michael Roach translated the book. It's a big one.
It's super exciting that we have these books. Excuse me.
You studied without this book.
Yeah, well, we had the ACI courses, and then you'd read, okay, well, it's one of those questions that you answer. You're like, well, what book does this come from? Until recently, we didn't have a complete translation of it, a good one. So it's super exciting that, this stuff it's historic.
Yeah.
It's really fantastic. But you can buy these, right? These come from the Diamond Cutter Press.
I mean, this one you cannot buy because this is a sponsor edition, because we are sponsoring the translators team. You can subscribe also. It is called the Good Night Book Club.
Can they not get that one?
No, this is when you are subscribed. You get this one, but there's another edition.
Can they get the ebook version of it?
They can get a real book, but it will not look the same. Like will not look the same. But
we paid extra money for the fancy version.
We pay $500 a month to get every single book that they translate. Geshe Michael with translators right away after he is done with editing.
We get super excited every time one comes.
Super excited, yeah. So why this book is important, and this is the commentary, right? The original sutra is quite short because it describes for every single living being what the evolutionary path looks like, independently who you are, what you are doing, whether you know what's written in this book or not, doesn't matter. Every single being goes through the same exact evolutionary path. Let's name it. The stages.
The 5 paths?
Yeah.
Sure, we can. One of the things, my brothers last week were texting and they were wanting to have a philosophical discussion about,
You didn't tell me.
Yeah, and Will was there. My son was there also, about what's objective and subjective, and they're kind of, and they're very smart. They've read a lot. But when you're,
they're also wealthy.
Well, okay, yeah.
Not much suffering.
But when you're talking about these things, if you've had access, I mean, the people, there's a lineage here, right, where people have actually done this. They've actually seen, something different. It's coming from direct knowledge. They're not just guessing. And it was hard to convey to my brothers, it's like, well, look, people have actually seen this. It's not just, well, we think it's like that, or it's, we believe, or we're taking it on faith. People have experienced these things directly and then come back and said, look, hey, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. And there are 5 paths that they go through. I mean, they've outlined it for us. The first path is the path of accumulation, where you're getting renunciation and you're learning how to meditate. The second path is the path of preparation, where you're learning about emptiness, qualities and characteristics, and what is objective and what is subjective, like what qualities do things around you have that are coming from their side, and what qualities do they have that are coming from your own perception. And then the big one is the path of seeing, mm-hmm. The third path. That's where you're actually having the direct perception of emptiness. And that's, if you've been around, that's a 20-minute experience that happens.
The most important 20 minutes in your life.
Yeah, it changes you from like an ordinary being. Like at that point, like something flips and you will definitely get out of suffering. And before that, you're stuck. I mean, could be like, they talk about time being beginningless. It's just an unimaginable amount of time that you can get stuck here in samsara, in the suffering world. Excuse me. I've had a cold this week. My voice is a little off. You want to finish?
Yeah, I can continue
All right.
if you want. I will try to keep his voice, safe,
Intact.
because this is just second day that Bill speaks after he lost it completely for 1 week. So we have paths of accumulation. Basically, you accumulate also two things. Renunciation, right? You see that, okay, I don't know anybody who is like over maybe 100 years old or something. And I'm 46 now. People I know started to die, like my mom passed away 2 years ago. Close people, they start. My friend with whom I was a good friend of mine at my medical school was quite famous doctor, and he passed away from COVID several years ago. And kind of you notice it, and you think, what is the solution? And you don't see one, right? And but what's clear that there isn't any solution in my ordinary actions. The only thing that will happen if I just go on like this, I will get old and die altogether, right? And I have no idea where I will go. Whatever your religion is, you don't have objective.
Could you open the door? It's hot in here.
Objective confirmation what will happen, right? I can believe in something, I don't know. Then accumulation, you study, like maybe you come to ACI 6 and study the Diamond Cutter Sutra, and then you get ready to some kind of experience, which happens on the third path. And this 20 minutes, 20, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. But basically what happens, there is, we will talk in details, like almost minute by minute, what happens in the third path, in the class 6 of this course. And this is probably the most important class of all ACI, or one of the most important classes. Then you touch in this meditation. It is a meditation. You have to be good at meditating. At the very least, you have to be able to still to be single-pointedly focused on one thing, and actually you explore the nature of, we can say, your mind, probably, right? Reality, the nature of reality. And this is basically your own mind, what you explore, and you analyze it, and then you get this deep insight. And when you have it, you don't know you have it. And when you come out, you have a number of realizations. You are not an ordinary being anymore. You become an Arya. This is what the real meaning of Arya is. And you have 4 realizations main that are split into 16. There is a whole beautiful teaching Geshe Michael gave once, and we can send you the list of those 16 if you want. Or maybe it will be in the reading also somewhere. We will figure it out. And basically, for the first time, you see that you will die. How it will happen? You see the causes of your suffering. You see that you did it yourself for the first time directly. You can see it. You know that you can stop it.
Oh, and it's not so much that you see your death, is that you see how many lifetimes you have before you get fully enlightened.
That too.
Yeah.
That's different
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
the
a happier one.
cause of suffering. Yeah, you can.
Seeing I'm gonna die isn't all that
Yeah, first is
motivational.
everything around you is actually suffering, and it's not depressing. It's just you see that okay, bad things obviously is a suffering, or like anytime anything bad can happen, this is obviously also a suffering. But why good things are suffering? I was struggling with this for many years. I was like, no, my life is not so bad.
Yeah.
Don't be negative. I mean, what do you mean everything is suffering? I have good relationships, like we love each other, you know, like I have a good relationship with my son, and honestly with everybody else. I don't think I have anybody.
You're a pretty happy person, frankly.
I am pretty happy, you know, and they say it's suffering. Yeah, it is. Guess why? It will end.
Yeah.
Because I was misunderstanding how the world functions before, basically. So first you realize it's all suffering. Second, there was a cause for the suffering. You see the end of the suffering, which is very exciting. It should not stay the same, right? As Jesus said, same thing, right? You don't have to die if you follow what I teach you, for example. And then there is a path how you can do it. There were people who did it. There are people on the way. And guess what? You can do it. This is what it's all about. So after third path of seeing, there are two more. Once you have the experience, you should implement what you learned in your life. Like you basically change how you behave. And this is exactly where this thing comes in play, because every single thing that a bodhisattva must learn is in this book. And then the last one is normal learning, when you get enlightened. You want to change translators? Okay. Change translators. Give you 5 seconds. You can write us when you're done. Okay, you're good? We have new translators in place? Okay. Okay. It looks like we do. So this is why this book is important. And if you don't know, Geshe Michael Roach, he wrote this book based on the commentary that we mentioned. It's a business book, but it has the main ideas in it, right? So let's start with this.
Do you think it's possible
What?
for a person to have the direct perception of emptiness? You talk about it. I mean, okay, so then there's people, historical people. You think, well, okay, maybe they did it, right? You know, like maybe the Lord Buddha did it. You know, maybe Jesus did it. Maybe Nagarjuna did it.
Yeah, who are they and who am I?
Yeah, right. Like, do you think it's possible that like an ordinary everyday person can do it?
This is what he did to me time to time, right? We didn't discuss that he will be challenging me in front of the audience.
No, but it's like if I were sitting there in the audience, it's what I would be thinking. It's like, well, okay, well, Jesus did it, but yeah, he was Jesus. The guy walked on water, right?
I think it's a very good question. And I think, honestly, you want my honest opinion?
Yeah, don't lie to me.
I think people who did already 5 courses with us,
Mhm.
they may have an insight into it a little bit deeper because they heard more. I think people who came for the first time, by the way, who are the first newcomers? Write something in the chat, a plus or something. So if people are coming for the first time, I think there is no way for them to believe what we say.
Yeah, no, and
No.
you don't have to.
And
right?
you don't have to.
Yeah.
This is the most important thing. Please don't believe us. Listen to what we will tell you, and then put on a shelf and think about it. And maybe I hope they figured with translators, because I'm not sure what to do. Maybe just listen and try to understand, to apply to your life. Okay, we have Victoria, who is for the first time. Congratulations, this is a very cool course to start these things. But don't think we try to convince you. All this teaching is strictly based on logic. Use your reasonable thinking, your sense of logic, and I think you will be in a good place at the end.
And what's helpful is that, trying to decide, well, is this possible, right? Is this really a thing, or is this just a really wild story that people have been telling for 2,500 years? And then you see somebody like Geshe Michael, right? Who's publicly said that he's done it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, maybe, right? I mean, I would have said 25 years ago, I would have said, well, okay, maybe that's kind of interesting, right? Like, maybe. But then you see the way he lives his life, and like, oh, okay, and it's a process that takes many years, right? But you see him, and personally, I've never seen him mentally afflicted.
Neither do I.
I've never seen
Never.
I've never seen him angry. I've never seen him jealous. I've seen him be just extraordinarily generous. And I mean, he's just constantly working for other people, which is exactly what you would expect it would be if somebody understood reality to be the way that it gets described in the books. And he's happy too.
Mm-hmm. You didn't ask me, but I want to tell you something.
All right.
Because he challenged me, okay? I think there are much more people who are not public about it. This is what I think. And they say, when you have this experience, you understand why you shouldn't be public about it.
I do think it's possible. I think if you're smart enough to be here in this class, and you can. It's possible to be able to meditate deeply enough, and you can study the material. And I do think it's not easy, right? I mean, Geshe says that it's like mastering the piano, right? It takes effort. It's going to take more than an hour a week on Sundays in order to be able to do it. But I think I do think it's a reasonable goal. I don't think there's anything better to do with your life, frankly.
Okay. One more thing, and we start with the book. I asked once Geshe Michael how to distinguish if a person has seeds to see emptiness directly, like this lifetime, right? It's a big goal. It's probably the best thing you can do with your life. And what he answered was if you are interested in these teachings, if you want to hear more about emptiness, more about this kind of stuff, then this is the sign. The more interest you have, the more you prioritize it in your life, this is the sign you can do it this lifetime. Okay, let's go. We will go through some questions and give you some more information that is actually pretty cool. So what about the book? What is the name?
The Vajrachedika?
Yeah, Vajrachedika is the Sanskrit name. It contains of basically two words, or Dorje Chopa, if somebody studies Tibetan. I know we have people who study Tibetan here. So what does it mean, Vajrachedika? Vajra is a word for diamond, and Chedika is like something that cuts, like che is the Sanskrit word for cutting. Tibetan dorje, if you know Tibetan, this first syllable dor is a stone in Tibetan, and je is like je Tsunkapa, right? It's like the Lord of the stones. Kismelov, what is the Lord of the stones?
Lord of the Stones. The diamond.
The diamond is the Lord of the stones. And Chopa is exactly what you expect. Cutter.
Oh. Keep going.
So the sutra itself was spoken by Buddha Shakyamuni. He was teaching in the place called Shravasti. It's in India. There is such a place still. And the place was interesting because they needed space to teach somewhere, like they needed Diamond Mountain or something like that. And there was a guy who had a special ability. He was very wealthy, had very special karma, could feel precious stones under the surface of the planet, of the Earth. Pretty cool ability, right?
Yeah, can I show people something?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we got to show them this.
And the Lord of the Stones.
So we were with some friends, and one of them owns a jewelry store, and we went up, and he took us up to the office.
This is how a 30-carat diamond on my hand looks like.
Yeah, that's a 30-carat diamond. There were
30 or 40, I don't recall.
I think that one was 40. The 30-carat was the one that was flawless. That was decolored flawless.
That's probably 40 carat.
Yeah, so that's what a 40-carat diamond looked like. There were 3 of them on the table. You have more photos.
That's fine.
Anyway,
it's not
it was. I thought it was kind of like an interesting karma that we've been talking about diamonds and thinking about them, and there we are in this office where there was 2 40-carat diamonds and a 30-carat diamond.
Yeah, one of the biggest diamonds.
Well, the only time I'd ever seen anything that big was like in the crown jewels, for England, that are on display, and you go and it's about the size of your fist, right? But anyway, it was.
Yeah, so the Lord of the Stones, right?
But it's kind of like it's an interesting karma, right? That it shows up, right? Like we're talking about diamonds, and then all of a sudden.
So there was this guy who could feel under the surface of the earth. His name was Anatta Pindada. He was very famous because he was Buddha Shakyamuni's sponsor. So he bought the place, the park where the teaching was given for Buddha Shakyamuni. And he paid a lot of money because Prince who owned the park wanted money to, like the coins to cover the surface of the park. And apparently they did it. That was the price. So and he became later, Prince himself became later Buddha Shakyamuni's follower also. So they were in this park, and the teaching was given to over 1,000 monks. And also they say like, okay, there were students that were visible, and there were other students that were not very visible, so maybe more than that. And if you will read the sutra, I just want you to get a feeling, okay? Because I remember I was totally, how to say, frustrated when I first read it.
Oh,
I want you just to feel it. Why we do not read the sutra directly. Okay. O conqueror, what is the name of this particular kind of teaching? How we should think of it? And the conqueror answered, this teaching is the teaching on perfect wisdom. This is how you should think and name it. Guess what? It is named the diamond cutter. It is not named the sutra on perfect wisdom. It is named the diamond cutter. First enigma, right? Then the next phrase, O Subhuti, and Subhuti is a person who is asking questions in this sutra. This teaching, why is it so, O Subhuti? The same perfect wisdom that the one, I need my glasses, the one Das Gan teaches is perfect wisdom that could never exist. So again, why this teaching is named perfect wisdom? Because this teaching could never exist. If your mind starts, you know, to din, 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 you are completely normal. Then, and this, in fact, is why we can even call it perfect wisdom. Tell me, Subhuti, what do you think? Is there any teaching at all which one Das Gan, means Buddhas, ever gives? And Subhuti respectfully replied, of course, conqueror, none at all. There never could be any teaching that the enlightened being, one Das Gan, he calls it here, could give.
so is that the end of our classes?
And then if he says like there wasn't any teaching, like what is this in this case? I mean, I can touch it. What does he mean? So what we can promise that at the end of this course, not only you will understand why he said what he said, it will make perfect sense to you, and it will be the key for you to see emptiness directly. Because this is so complex, we need other stuff, not only the sutra, right? We need commentaries. And we have explanations by several people. There were 2 Indian commentaries by Master Vasubandhu. Or actually, there was a mistake in the Geshe Michael's original class. They called Master Asanga. So the early commentary was by Master Vasubandhu.
They were half brothers, and you'll hear their names continually through the rest of your Dharma career. They're major figures.
And the second commentary is by Master Kamalashila. Those 2 names are big names.
Master Kamalashila wrote the book on meditation.
Yeah, also
not coincidentally, right?
One of the highest minds on this planet. Like if people would just understand what they wrote, there would be, I don't know, like they would be really honored. Unfortunately, not many people know what it means, what they taught. So Master Kamalashila was one of people who was killed for these teachings because he was having a debate with another master who was teaching incorrectly, and he was the one who was even killed for what he knew was right. Okay, then, but the most important for us at this point is even the later commentary by a Tibetan guy, very important in our lineage because he wrote a lot of books, was very unusual. His teaching style is the closest to Western style. And he himself had different dreams about like enlightened beings go into the West, and he would not understand himself why he would have these dreams, or at the very least he was saying this way. So Choni Lama or Choni Dragpa Shedrup from Seramay monastery is the guy who, can I show the book? Is the guy who actually wrote this book. This is translated by Geshe Michael, and the author of this book, the best explanation of this profound wisdom of the Diamond Cutter Sutra. This is the book.
And Choni Lama is another name that you will hear
many times
consistently through the teachings throughout the rest of your Dharma career. His name will keep coming up. You'll read many texts by him.
You are very fortunate because we can show a book to you. Like imagine I was studying, like there was some kind of book that was called Sunlight on the Path to Freedom, except there was no book. There was something in Tibetan that I could not really read.
Well, we were in the library last fall at Seramay. We were in India and we went to Seramay, and you go and I mean, there's all these texts there, like these incredible texts, and it's a little frustrating, frankly, because they're all just straight in Tibetan, right? Of course, it's a Tibetan library. And like, oh my gosh, I just wish all of these were in English. And it's a major effort to translate them, and it's really exciting to start getting to be getting these texts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was also really cool to be in the library there in India and see them and all kinds of books. Ina came back with boxes and boxes of them
in Tibetan. Yeah. And by the way, the library we are talking about was the place where Geshe Michael Roach received his Geshe degree. Because at the time he was with his teacher in India in Seramay monastery, the library was a place for exams, for Geshe exams. And there are all the teachers on the walls, like Kenrin Pache is up there. It's very pleasant to see the roots of this.
If people are new, Kenrin Pache is Geshe Michael's main teacher.
And Bill's teacher also.
Yeah, I was fortunate to be able to spend a few years studying.
Yeah. Okay, so what else can we tell? Yeah. One of the most frustrating things for me was that this guy Subhuti, which that's a separate subject. Why is he asking these questions, right? Because maybe you come somewhere, you want to listen to a speaker, and then there is another guy who is just being a pain in the ass, and he's asking all these questions, blah, 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 blah. And then this guy, the young man Subhuti, was like that. He was like, oh, can I ask you something? And then there would be a teaching, because this is how Buddha Shakyamuni would start teaching. Somebody would come and ask him a question. And an important lesson here for me comes right away, because I used to get irritated when something like that happens, like somebody is talking and then somebody's, oh, can I have a question? And at the end, there is a hint that actually Subhuti was not a real young monk. He was another enlightened being. The Buddha of Wisdom, Manjushri, pretended to be this young monk, and he was asking a question. So basically, two enlightened beings, they were playing. It was a theater, for the audience, like one hand, and two heads. Yeah. Can I ask a question? Like puppets. Can I ask a question? Yeah, please ask a question. Like how the bodhisattva should live, how they should practice, and how they should think. Oh, that's a very good question. Here is the teaching. This is what was going on, actually.
Yeah, and maybe in 2,500 years you'll start to understand.
That was a good joke.
And Manjushri, who else is Manjushri associated with?
I don't know who else.
Jason Kappa.
Oh yeah, Jason Kappa. Yeah, another name in this lineage. And if you are here for the first time, you don't know yet.
Yeah. Well, Jason Kappa founded the lineage that we're in, the Gelugpa lineage, of which Siramay is a Gelugpa monastery, and we are now. If you're here getting these teachings, that's your lineage also. So
yeah. So all this book, this is my short book of sutra. It's only in 4 languages, so you see it's not that big. Like all this book is just non-stop frustration. I mean, any page you open, you will, for example, who are the beings that you have to save? Like, okay, these are the beings you have to save. It will be probably class 2, like these beings, these beings, these beings, these beings, these beings. Then next question. Do you think, Subhuti, there are such beings? And Subhuti says, no, I don't think there are such beings. And the Buddha says, yeah, you're right. There are no such beings. This is why we can really save them. And you're like, what? And believe me, it does make sense, and you will figure it out.
Yeah, it's like the class in college where you sit down and then you start looking at your schedule, seeing if it's too late to drop it.
Okay, so let's start with the name, right?
Well, so it's obscure, right? When you just read the original sutra, but that's why there's commentaries. The commentaries make it, will explain to you why they're talking like that. And then it's not just, and we're not reading Master Vasubandhu's commentary from 350 AD. We're reading the Tibetan commentary that was 19th century. And then Geshe Michael, he's very modest. He calls them footnotes. You can see there's all these footnotes here at the bottom.
Sometimes half of a page.
And he calls them footnotes, but really they're their own modern commentary. And that makes it way more accessible. Because even if we had Choni Lama's commentary.
Like here, this is the footnote.
Yeah, and so
by Geshe Michael.
So again, he calls them footnotes, but they really are a commentary that makes the Choni Lama's commentary accessible. So you can read this.
And here, this is a picture of the oldest printed book, which is a Diamond Cutter Sutra in Chinese. This is the oldest that is still on this planet.
What other languages is that available in? Do you know?
Chinese.
Well, okay, I'm talking about Geshe Michael's translations.
Oh, that was my next point. So this book, I mean, you don't have to read it completely for this course, because the most important parts are already translated for you, and you will have it with the reading materials.
Yeah, you don't have to read this book at all. You don't have to have this book for this course.
Yeah. It's just, you know, for how you call them, fans, fan,
Fans?
fans, yeah.
Fans?
If you are like you are in love with ancient books like us, you may want to find it. It is translated into several languages. I'm not sure about Asian languages. I'm sure it was translated into some. You probably better figure out with people in your countries. I know it does exist in Russian, and we will translate it into Ukrainian. If you are good in translating, and okay, no, probably I should not say it here because people are too new. We have a group of translators. They are students of these courses, and it's difficult to translate those books because of the complexity of the language. But if you want to become a translator, let us know, because we have lots of languages, lots of books to translate in, and I want to translate it into Ukrainian and maybe into some other languages with the time.
But I do get the book. I mean, if you can, it's
yeah.
There's something about actually holding the paper in your hand and holding the book it's frankly, and everybody does things online because it's convenient, but there's really, for me, and I've seen studies where they say that you'll learn the material better if you read it from a paper book.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then one of the frustrating moments, as I told you, is when Buddha Shakyamuni says, you should name this book The Perfection of Wisdom. And guess how it was named? The Diamond Cutter. There is no word cutter in the book. There is no one place there is a word diamond in a book. Why? And they say Geshe Michael is sure that the Buddha Shakyamuni himself named it the Diamond Cutter. Because if you will get to the point, if you will really understand that, it is the same name. It is actually the same name. So why? Because the diamond is the closest metaphor for the absolute reality. Why everybody was going
Ultimate reality.
Ultimate right. Yeah, because I'm still thinking in terms of translating. Yeah, ultimate reality. So why everybody was going crazy with the ultimate reality? Because it was said, once you touch this ultimate reality, once you make contact with it, you will be able to stop your suffering altogether. This fourth path, you will be applying what you have seen on the path of seeing, and then path number 5, no more learning. You will become an enlightened being. This is when you get on the conveyor belt, how you call it?
Yeah, you would say that, conveyor belt.
Conveyor belt. You cannot return anymore. You will be, you are on the upward cycle.
Guaranteed to get out.
Guaranteed to get out.
Well, what's interesting is that, like, why a diamond? You know, like, what is it about a diamond that everybody who's ever had the direct perception of emptiness compares it to a diamond? And one of the interesting things, one of the reasons, is that a diamond is an ultimate. Nothing's the biggest, right? Like, you know, if something is,
Pardon?
well, but no, I'm talking about things that, you know, like nothing's the biggest, right? Like you could always,
there is no thing that is the biggest,
right? So like if it weighs, you know, like you can't say 10 pounds is the biggest because you could have 11 pounds, or you can't say 1,000,000 pounds is the biggest because you could have 1,000,001, or, you know, like there's nothing that's the biggest, you know, or the heaviest, or the fastest, or the smallest. You know, like you can always, you know, like go something more absolute, you know, but a diamond is the hardest thing in the universe. There's nothing that's harder than a diamond. And there's nothing that's as hard as a diamond. So it's like one of the very few examples of something that's an ultimate. It's ultimately hard. There's nothing that's
if you will take a look, there is a special scale of hardness in because I love jewelry and precious stones, and I was long before I met the teachings, I knew about the scale, you know,
Yeah.
hardness, Mohs scale, so-called. So, and it has 10 points, and like I think one of the hardest is how you call it, ruby, one of the hardest. I think it's 8 to 9, but 10, it's only the diamond. Nothing cuts the diamond. Diamond cuts everything. So if you have other precious stones, how they make these knives, you know, that they use to cut the stones, it's a diamond knife, basically, out of diamond dust, you know, something like that. But if you want to cut a diamond, ruby will not cut it, emerald will not cut it, nothing will cut it.
Yeah, it was interesting when we were in that man's office where she had, you know, the 3 large diamonds, the 240 carat and the 130 carat, and they were just there on the table, and $30 million worth of diamonds, and Ina was picking them up, and the owner of the jewelry store said, "Well, be careful, don't touch them together." He said they'll cut each other, and I was, oh my god. I was like, oh my god, just get them away from her.
Oops, 10 millions.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah, $30 million worth of diamonds, and he was real casual about it. Like, hey, don't touch them.
Go slow, Bella.
Well, no, I still get nervous.
Yeah, and also it's hard, but people, they confuse hardness with how you call it, like you can drop it and you will get millions of pieces of it, you know, like it can be broken easily.
Well, you say that, but then once Geshe Michael had a diamond in one of our classes, and he was going to take it. He was talking about this, and he was just a little diamond, and he had a hammer, and he was going to shatter it, and he couldn't shatter it with a hammer. He took it and he was banging, and the hammer wouldn't do it. So I think it's harder to break a diamond than what you would think. I mean, he was surprised. He thought he could do it, and he wasn't able to.
It depends on the structure.
Sure,
like
yes,
if you
yes.
you know,
It has planes where you can cleave it.
there are like internal surfaces, you know, that are microscopic, and if even you can drop it, and with bad luck, you know, you can really break it with just one movement. Okay, so why the diamond is a metaphor of emptiness? First, because it is the ultimate, right? The only ultimate thing you can find in the universe, and you can think on your own. Is there anything other that is absolute, you know?
That's an ultimate. You know, the fastest, the biggest.
The fastest, the biggest, the smallest, the most hungry,
the wealthiest.
the wealthiest, right? There will be somebody who will put 1 more billion on top of. So then second is diamond is absolutely clear. I mean, raw diamonds, they are, I don't know if you have seen them, they are just very unattractive gray pieces, like
kind of milky.
Yeah, milky grayish, not like this at all. But I would like to go back to the previous slide, because here you see that the lady is holding the diamond. It is absolutely clear, and basically this is the second quality, right? It's if you will build a wall, let's say, out of the diamonds, you will try to go through it because you will not see it.
Yeah.
Unlike glass, right? Glass, we can see it's bluish or greenish or something.
Yeah, like when you take a piece of glass and you look at it from the side, you can see that it's green. You can see the color that's in it. And apparently, if you could have like a 10-foot thick wall of diamond, you wouldn't be able to see it. Geshe tells an interesting story of how in one of the spaceships, long time ago, must have been back in the 80s, they needed a window for the camera lens, and it had to be able to withstand, being used in space in a spaceship, and they wanted it to be clear, perfectly clear, and so they used a diamond for the lens, and apparently it's extremely expensive. But yeah, they used a diamond because of the fact that it was clear.
Yeah. So in the same way, we are like every single object possesses emptiness. We look at emptiness of the objects all day long, and we are unable to see it. This is the second quality.
Yeah.
And the third one is that when you break diamonds, like if I would not be careful, they would drop the 40-carat diamonds, probably something like on the picture would happen, maybe a little bit less beautiful.
Yeah.
Probably would not cut into like correct shapes.
Probably not.
So every single piece is as much diamond as the whole diamond, right? And the emptiness is exactly the same. Every single object possesses absolutely same 100% empty self-existence. Every object is 100% empty of self-existence, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely same. So Geshe Michael was making fun, I remember. He was saying like any object in the universe possesses emptiness. I mean, forget about seeing an enlightened being. Just try to see emptiness of your stupid pen, or anything else. Like it's exactly same emptiness. Like you could get out of the suffering if you would be able to make it happen.
Yeah. And what's really interesting is that we each have our own emptiness, right? The Bill, the idea of Bill is empty, Ian is empty, Katya empty, and we're all. But that emptiness is the exact same for us as it is for an enlightened being, which is why we can get enlightened. The fact that we share that same emptiness is the reason why we don't have to be human. We could have been an enlightened being if we'd done something different in the past. And so that's what allows us to reach the kingdom of heaven before you die. It's that emptiness that makes that possible.
Yeah. And in other words, I mean, it's if you are for the first time, it's maybe a little bit tricky to understand what emptiness means. It means that you don't have to be the way you are. Nothing around you has to be the way it is. It can be anything, literally anything, because it does not have own properties that are not connected to you, to the way you think, you speak, and you act. Like we make fun when we teach the pen, right? When we say that if I see this thing, I do this. Boy, I just cleaned it. I have to do it again. Okay, I do this, right? If a dog sees this thing, it does this. You see? The qualities of the object do not come this way, because I see a pen and the dog sees something else, probably a chewing toy or something like that. But the emptiness of this thing is that it doesn't have to be the way it is. Could I see a diamond? Yeah, I could. If I would share more diamonds, probably I would see a diamond instead of the pen. I claim I shared a lot of pens though. So nothing should be the way it is. And you can be, your body does not have to be the way it is. It means this is exactly what Jesus meant. He said that if you understand how the reality functions, if you understand that you don't have to be the way you are, and the way you are comes from your something you previously have done, and you can change it. Точно. Then why do we have, we know why we have the word diamond. Why do we have the word cutter?
Because emptiness is a lot better than a diamond. A diamond's, a physical object. It's not going to really be able to solve your problems. Maybe some problems if you had a 30-carat one. But it's not going to solve your ultimate problems. It's not going to save you from all your suffering. In the same way that emptiness is. The direct perception of emptiness far surpasses
diamonds,
even big ones.
Yeah, there were very powerful kings of India, definitely having the biggest diamonds in the world and being just a burden on this planet, gone long time ago. And Geshe Michael, when he translates these sutras and bumps into a king's name, does not even know which one it is. So that this is how powerful they were. So basically, when you translate the name of the sutra, the diamond cutter or Vajra Chedika, Dorje Chopa, into your language, the most important word is the cutter. Like it should be something to cut off, like to cut, because the emptiness is so powerful. It is beyond even diamonds, cuts the diamonds. This is the meaning of the sutra. And the last question of the class. So we should start the sutra, right? It's the end of the first class, and we will. And the sutra starts with the famous question of Subhuti, which, as we know, at the end happened to be Manjushri. And so if he happened to be Manjushri, probably his question is somehow important. I was going to say to people listening, if you're listening to you, so he probably is directly thinking that it is important for you. And he asked, how should the Bodhisattva live? How should the Bodhisattva practice? How should the Bodhisattva think? And by Bodhisattva, he means somebody who understood about the nature of reality and is aspiring to make this breakthrough the sufferings and get ultimately happy. You have anything to add, Mala? Then I think we can dedicate and finish today's class. We can answer one question if you have one, because I don't know how.
When's our next class?
Clear. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. I'm taking a look. Oh, I'm good in my glasses. Ooh.
I have a question, but I wonder if online students.
No questions so far. We have a question from our offline audience. Yulia? I will repeat your question.
It's not directly, it's somehow my question related to the topic, but not directly. It's, for me, right now, it's kind of difficult to always remember that everything what what surrounds me comes from me. Comparing to previous year, right now it's easier.
Mhm.
My question is,
Yulia says that it is difficult to remember that everything comes from her. It is easier comparing to previous years, but still.
what's the situation with yelling husband on the kitchen, especially?
Yeah.
I tend to forget that everything comes from me.
Mhm.
But in stressful situations like her husband, we can tell him not to yell at you anymore. No, that's a joke. It was her husband who is somewhere here with the kid, with the husband in the kitchen, right? In stressful situations, it is difficult to remember where the world is coming from.
With my husband, just
No,
other
You know,
situations.
it's a joke. I was joking. It's not about her husband. She wanted to clarify.
Is it for me
Mhm.
to be able to, especially in such situation, to remind myself quickly that it's coming from me and not to become angry or afraid or not to fall in other negative emotions because I forget that it comes from me. It's not self-existent.
Mhm.
Is there a way to remind myself quickly, or
Mhm. Good
it's
question.
it depends on my current level of my spiritual development.
Mhm.
It depends on how it just depends on how I meditated, how I help my teachers, how I being kind and that ethical way of life, and other spiritual practices that I do right now. It all depends on this, or
So the question is there a quick way to remind myself where things are coming from instead of being afraid, angry, etc.? Does it only depend on my level of how conscious, mindful I am, or are there other shortcuts?
How do you fight your mental afflictions before you've had the direct perception of emptiness?
Yeah, the
Right.
question is actually before you will reach the state when you like,
Free of them.
you know what? I know how it works. I'm not reacting to anything. I have seen the nature of reality. Then before you have seen it, right? You are a normal human being. How to survive?
yeah, and I know that I have to practice more, and I have to go.
Yeah, and she also has her sense of guilt. I know she says that I have to practice more.
I know. Just I know that, but is there a way when you're in the stressful situation to come some kind of remind yourself?
Is there a
Faster.
way to remind
Is there a
yourself
faster
faster in the stressful situation?
looking for magic pill?
Or is she a lazy student looking for a magic pill?
I think, a number of thoughts
Both?
come to mind. Yeah. It's you can't get rid of your mental afflictions entirely until you've had the direct perception of emptiness. It's not possible. And so you're going to be struggling. We all struggle with them until we've had the direct perception of emptiness. And then I think just the fact that you're struggling with them is where the victory is, right? You'll get better as long as you're fighting them. And then the results of having a mental affliction when you are struggling against it are far, far less than what they are, normal people just indulging in their mental afflictions or thinking that their anger or jealousy are a virtue, right? And so, and then, I mean, personally, what I found, just the more you study, the better you get, at recognizing when you're doing something wrong, just the intellectual knowledge. And then also, meditating helps a lot because
And the
then
book.
then you are able to see your thoughts, and you're more aware of them, and your clarity, and it's being able to meditate is really helpful. Like you get to a point where your ability to focus, you'll carry it with you off the cushion, and then you'll catch yourself much quicker when you're starting to have these mental affliction attacks, to the point where it almost seems like they're gone. They're not until you've had the direct perception of emptiness. But if you're meditating and thinking about these things, and
slow, because we have translators, mental afflictions attacks. Sorry, translators.
So you can go pretty dang far with just an intellectual understanding of it and meditating. And the program, and just on a practical level, I mean, going through the 18 foundational courses, and then going through the advanced courses, it's really, Geshe Michael has done a brilliant job of it. I mean, if you just go through the program and sincerely follow it, you will get better.
Just do ACI.
Just do it. Yeah, just do it. You will get better. It's really, it's profound. It's I mean, even calling it genius, I don't think really does it justice. It's
better than genius.
Yeah. What do you're good with these kind of questions. What do you have to say?
I think this is exactly what we are doing right now, right? The question of Subhuti was, how should a bodhisattva live, practice, and think? At the end of this course, you will get all your answers.
Yeah.
And that's true.
And that's why the direct perception of emptiness is so important. Is there's nothing to replace it. It is an ultimate. It's the only way you can get rid of your mental afflictions entirely. It's the only way you can stop hurting yourself and other people in a permanent way. It's one of the things that you see when you come out of the direct perception of emptiness. They call it the truth of utility. And you realize that you've never done anything in your life that wasn't tainted by some kind of selfishness. Even like, and it's hard to imagine, like, you love your kids, but like even when you were taking care of your kids, there was some kind of selfish desire, to like, oh, I love my kids, they're wonderful, and until you've had the direct perception of emptiness, it's not possible. Even in your 99.99% virtuous moments of taking care of a kid, there's some part of you that's still selfish and still tainted with an ignorance. And so, I mean,
don't worry. Do your 6 times book.
Well, and then people can get out of it too, right? It's not like, oh, you're stuck, right? Like that can change, which is the whole point of all of this.
We treat different students differently. When another student comes and asks this question, I said, you're prohibited to feel guilty also.
Well, and people, I mean, there have been historical accounts of people who have been like really genuinely bad people who have, committed many murders. And
like Milarepa,
yeah,
his path, right? He started as a black magician, killed hundreds of people.
Yeah, and they have the direct perception of emptiness again. So it's
horrible obstacles. I mean, he went through horrible stuff, but he was able because of the power of realizations.
And just an intellectual understanding can take you a long way. I mean, you can, even before you've had the direct perception of emptiness, you can reach a point where your understanding of cause and effect and emptiness, because the two go together, right?
And if you want, you will get results of your afflictions and you will not want it. Okay, we have 2 more questions. First question is, what's your advice for us to keep our studies and to be able to certificate our courses? What was your past track fast track for you on this process. I hear you before saying it took time, but you did it to achieve. You achieved it. Any suggestions? Bill is a good example. I'm most of the times a bad example.
That's not true.
He did it within 3 years. He was so focused. He was flying his airplanes, was extremely busy. He had young kids, but he's very good with scheduling. Like he decided, 3 years, he was done with his ACI courses. I was having how to say, the sky was falling on the earth when I started these classes for me, and I changed countries, cities, jobs, like partners, and like I had so many obstacles that I always knew I need to help other people to understand these teachings, because otherwise I will not be able to finish myself. And I was helping people to do homeworks. Maybe this is something you can consider, helping, leading homework groups, helping others. Even you understand 1%, help other people to understand this 1%. Don't try to convey them more than you understood, but what you really understood, go ahead and help other people.
I think also if, at the end of it, if you could dedicate what you're doing,
Yeah, dedication.
Just dedicate it to the end of suffering for every living being. And I mean, just even a small intention to really hope, like I hope this helps other people. And, I dedicate my efforts. You won't lose it, right? And I think that will help. Don't let the good actions that you've done get away.
And the last question, probably because I'm so terrible at the practice of meditation, I always, if there is there a way or historical event of achieving seeing emptiness directly by other perfections? There is no other way, but if you will observe your mind, if you will be patient, like with a 3-year-old baby with it, you will trick it. You will trick it into meditation, and it will listen, and it will be happy. And Bill is actually building a course for meditators who have difficult time to start meditating. So
you can do it. You can meditate. It's possible. That's one of the really cool things. They describe meditation in a lot of detail, and then you're like, really, is that really possible? Yeah, it's possible. And you can do it. It doesn't. It's like Ken Rinpoche told me, it just takes time on the cushion, and some instruction helps.
Yeah, and also maybe I don't know if you know how you start meditating, right? You don't start with just sitting. You start with doing something that we call 6 times book, because the real reason you can really focus well and be happy with your meditation is if you follow how we call it, ethics, right?
Yeah.
And there are 10 top 10 good deeds or top 10 bad deeds that we avoid, right? So if you will be advanced with this practice, like you will really follow what's going on in your mind, in a way you are really ready to meditate. And then you just trick yourself. You don't say, oh, I'm becoming a meditator today, like 1 hour. That's a big mistake. And even you were a good meditator and you are out of shape right now, which happens, right? Then it's same like you were playing, I don't know, football, basketball, running, and then you're out of shape. You don't go to run a marathon if you did not run for several years, right? You run like maybe 20 meters, 50 meters, then kilometer, you know, and this is how Geshe Michael is advising to restart meditation or to start meditating. Start with 5 minutes. Don't go into, like, if you are over 30, 40, don't sit on the cushion with your legs burning and, you know, everything is aching, and just use a chair, a comfortable chair. You should be comfortable. And then 5 minutes, just decide you are not moving. 5 minutes, that's it. Then add 1 minute every week. That's it. You should be happy when you meditate. And you will struggle for a couple of weeks. Then you will feel something pleasant. Then follow this pleasant feeling. It was cool yesterday. I want it today also.
You can do it. It's possible. Earl, Bernie, you guys, he's very involved with YSI, the Yoga Studies Institute. He was talking about putting together a meditation course recently in one of the online events. I don't know what he's got going. We did the 3-year retreat with me, one of my friends from there. I'm putting together a course because people need help. The stuff that we have, frankly, from ACI, it's the monastic stuff, and there's the need for
to make it easier for modern people.
Yeah, there's a need for more instruction, and we're putting it together. I mean, I should have it done by this fall.
He promised to me tomorrow I will have a plan of the course.
Yeah. So we're putting it together. That'll make it easier for you, and give you some instruction, and you know, help you with, you know, like, why, you know, am I having problems with this or that, or, you know, and it's
and honestly, if you would, the problem here, if you don't meditate even 5 minutes, is not that you are wrong, like, or something is wrong with you. Every single person is the same. Nobody wants to meditate. Everybody has obstacles. It's incredibly good karma when you are able to wake up and straight, maybe through the bathroom, go straight to the cushion, you know, and meditate.
But
it's almost doesn't happen.
But I can tell you, like, once you're able to meditate, it's super cool. I mean, it's really like you gain control of your mind, right? Like, Yulia was talking about, well, how do I handle my mental afflictions? Well, you know, like, if you don't have control of your mind, it's hard to have control of your mental afflictions. And then when you meditate, I mean, you can direct it. You know, like, they talk about monkey mind, and it's a great example. It's like, well, you know, it's all over the place, right?
Breakfast.
Yeah. Lunch, dinner, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. And when you can gain control over your mind and focus it where you want, I mean, it's cool. It's
And there are certain benefits of meditations that I really recommend. We did a class before ACI 3, and I really recommend to listen, because probably you just don't know what you will get instead.
Yeah. I mean,
this is why you're not motivated.
I mean, we're not going to teach a meditation class right now,
not now.
But it's out there. We're working on it. You can do it. The same emptiness that lets you become an enlightened being will let you become a meditator. And it's a lot easier to meditate than it is to become an enlightened being. You can do it. You know, like, the same way as if you started, you know, running or playing a musical instrument, within a couple of years, you can get dramatically better than what an untrained individual would be.
Just don't overload yourself with many stuff, and keep it happy. If you can keep it happy, then you will make it. Even you start with 3 minutes of meditation.
Yeah. So, but go find Earl's course. I'm sure he'll be good at it. I'm sure he'll be good at teaching. And then I'm going to put together something that should be available by this fall, and we'll help you. Okay.
Sorry, translators. I don't know for how much we told them it will be, but it will be, the classes will be 1.5 hours.
Did we do it?
So yeah.
Or a little.
Thank you, and see you tomorrow for the exciting class 2.
Yeah, please come back. This is a great course. It's super exciting. There's some really, really cool things coming.
Yeah, we will talk about nirvana tomorrow. One of the coolest thing you can get.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
super exciting.
Thank you. Thank you, translators. You are amazing.
And thank you everybody for being here with us so that we can have these classes. Ina and I really love doing this. It's one of our favorite things to do. So we appreciate you being here and discussing this with us.
Yeah.
Пока-пока.